Who is the best heel? We're gonna discuss that today in the WWE. Who gets that top crown? Because there's a lot of people there that do some pretty good work, and there's other people that just kind of barely feel like a bad guy. So I guess we're just gonna jump right into it. I'm Japan, so yeah, Alba Fire. She's part of the Secret Herbis. I don't know. They are heels, but I really I don't know, man. I don't really like her as a heel. I don't feel like her heel character really does much, but I guess it works. Um, we go to Aleister Black. He feels he's too cool. Like he's really too cool to be a heel. I think that's kind of like that perfect thing. I didn't make this tier list, but I was trying to, I kind of going with the rules that they have, but I think he is too cool. He kind of gets that face reception. I think a lot of people do like him, but not necessarily, like as a bad guy to a certain extent. He's just like a good and interesting wrestler to see out there. Next up, we have Angel Garza. I'll put him and Berto together in the same spot. I think it's kind of like that mixed. Like I think they get heat, but I don't think anybody really cares if they're bad guys. Like they just kind of have that bad guy vibe. I guess I'd put Santos Escobar also there if he's on this list, but it's just it doesn't really work for me. I think that they could definitely do better. Next up is Austin Theory. I think like he can be a good heel, but like especially with what he was last part with Grayson Waller, everybody just wanted him to turn face. So I guess he was kind of the too cool one. I think they really wanted him to turn, but he never did. Right now, Becky Lynch is doing some of the best heel work in the game with just being herself to a certain extent, kind of going based off of what a lot of people believe in her, like being like, oh, she's just kind of a, Becky Hogan type thing. So she's kind of working with that, and it's working for a lot of people. So I'd say kind of nuclear heat. Brock Lesnar, I think it's just people just hate him. I don't really feel like there's much to put him anywhere else here that he's just kind of an ass. Or definitely it is. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, putting them together. Hmm. I think it's strong heel work. I think they're doing good. I think the vision is working. It's just it needs a little bit more time um, to really just kind of cement everything together. But I think it's going to be there. Then we got the Creeds. I think honestly, they really are better faces. So I guess I put him down there. I don't really view them as like heels. Ivy Nile would also be with them. Um, I do like Chad Gable being more of an actual strong heel. He is very actually I put him in the nuclear heat. He really can get under people's skin. The whole Otis thing and all that. Candice LeRae with the current DIY, almost with DUI. um, I don't know. I don't think she really has much of a reaction with it, but she, yeah, I'd put her down there. I don't think she works as a face or a heel. I think she should just go out there and just do her wrestling because I think it works out really well. Then we have Carmelo Hayes, who technically is still like a heel. He turned on the Miz, but I think that really wasn't like a turn of a face type thing. He did it for his own good. I think he kind of has almost like a too cool thing because like he has those high flying moves. I really think they should more like humbleize him and put him out there as a baby face. And I think he would have a really good solid first run of something as a baby face compared to the heel because I feel like he's not a bad heel, but I just think there's too many on SmackDown. Next up is a Grande Americano. I'm gonna use this one as Ludwig's currently. I think he's getting that face reception. Like he's definitely a heel, but I think people just are going crazy, especially in Mexico with it. Um, then we get Stacks. I think he's just kind of hated, more annoying. I don't really like him in general. I think he's a good wrestler, but I think him when he was a babyface with Tony was kind of just boring, and then him turning on Tony just didn't really do anything. Charlie Dempsey, I don't know. He doesn't really get that much reaction as a heel. Chelsea Green has strong and good heel work. I'd almost put her in nuclear, but I think she's kind of dialed it back a little bit. Like they've given her less screen time, but when she had the U.S. Championship, she did really good work, and she's done good work in like Royal Rumbles and stuff. But yeah, next up we get to the biggest heel in the company, Dominic Mysterio. Even though he's kind of like feeling like he's gonna turn to like almost face or something if Finn turns on him at some point. But man, it's just works so well. People love to boo him. People love to cheer for him. He is 100% over. Next up is Drew McIntyre. I feel like he has some pretty good strong heel work. I don't really like his character always just being kind of like whiny and feeling like he is getting screwed out of something. It doesn't really do good, especially like with the Cody Rhodes thing. Like after it happened, it just kind of didn't work because it was like you're going after Cody saying that like he didn't really do anything, so it doesn't really help your baby face, and then your heel just kind of seems like he's complaining because he, was going to do something that is, maybe not a DQ, maybe just kind of despicable. So, like, it just kind of felt dumb overall, and I think they need to do better stuff. Next up is Ethan Page. He has nuclear heat. He's one of the best heels on NXT. He's done whatever they've told him to do. He just goes out there and just does the storyline, and he's very like giving, putting over a lot of baby faces too. So nuclear heat because he can just get a crowd to turn on him in a second. It's perfect. Fallon Henley, I guess mixed. I feel like she definitely works as a heel, but I don't think people care too much about her to, decide anything. I really think that like Fatal Influence was really supposed to be hers, and it just ended up not working out for her. Finn Balor, I think, is a pretty strong heel. I do feel like he wouldn't be quite on the nuclear side of things. I think like whenever he does turn on Dom, I think he will become one of those really big heels. Julia, I like Julia's heel thing, but I just think it hasn't really quite worked out because they haven't let her have that title run yet. Like they just have her going out there doing stuff, and it's just not working on the title run. So I think it's almost like she's too cool for it. Like people are just cheering for her because they don't really view her as a heel. Grayson Waller has strong heat, especially working with the New Day. He can do really well on the mic, and the Grayson Waller effect when he gets those segments, it works really well. Gunther, I think, has nuclear heat. Like he just is that arrogant guy, and I think people just love to hate that. Tali Tonga, I feel like the whole MFT crew is just not really working out. I really was a big fan of this faction, but I'm putting all of them down here. Where was Tonka Loa? I know they've been teasing about maybe getting another member, but man, it's just not working for me. I feel like they pulled the US title off of Solo too fast, and I feel like the MFTs should have been higher in the tag division to possibly even winning it, just to help them get over a little bit further, and it didn't work out. I think they should definitely copy and get rid of the bad stuff for the vision. Like there's been stuff that worked with MFTs and there's stuff that didn't work, and I think a big thing is titles, and I really think they need to put one on the bronze, and I think that will be the counterpoint of if they would have done that with this group, it could have possibly worked out. Izzy Dame is a pretty good heel. I think she does get a little bit of mixed reactions because I think people want to like her, so it makes it a little bit harder. Jace, she's pretty good with the heel things. She's kind of bringing that like champion that people don't want, and people like have that feeling outside of wrestling and inside of wrestling. So she's using that as kind of her thing, and it's working out pretty well for her. Jada Parker, I think she just gets that face reaction. People just like her and like her song and like everything about her. So like it just doesn't really work as a heel, even though she's fully a heel. Jasper Troy has done great work when he's started down there in NXT. They I think gave him too big of a push because now what does he do? Like he doesn't have anything else that he can do for a while, and he's been not really shown because of that. So I think like I guess I'd put him down in the no reaction. I don't know where I'd put him. Maybe in the mixed. Like he definitely works good as a heel. It just hasn't worked out because I think the push was too big. Uh, Jasmine Nix, she just currently left WWE. I'll just put her on the bottom. I don't really think she had much of a reaction as a heel either way. JD McDonough, I honestly think he kind of gets that face reaction. I think people like him and they want to see him do other stuff. And I don't really think a lot of people view him as a heel, even though he's in a heel faction. Joey Gargano, both him and Tommaso Ciampa have done really good work as heels. I'd probably put both of them up there in that hated category. Kevin Owens, before he left, I think he was just up there as a giant heel, and it was nuclear, especially with Cody Rhodes. I think he did great with the whole feud going into WrestleMania. So I definitely would want to put him at the top. Then we have James, who's currently Julia's manager. I don't think they really view her as anything yet because they don't really know, and she's only had one match, like solo match, and she got pinned in 3 seconds. So not the greatest fin there. Kofi Kingston, I'd say both the New Day right now have really strong heat because the crowd really hates them. It works pretty good. Now, when they turned on Big E, they were definitely in that top category for the longest time until that went down. Next up is Liv Morgan. I feel like she's kind of one of those ones. She's a really good heel, but like she does get that face reaction. I think a lot of people like her, so I think I'll put her still up at the top because she can get to that heat and the with that Rhea Ripley fit when she had Dom like switch on Rhea. I think really put her up there. Mariah May or Blake Monroe down in NXT. She's doing good work. I think she's still kind of one of those that's too cool. Like I think people really like her and don't really view her as like the heel in that thing. It's weird. I don't know. Logan Paul has nuclear heat because he's just a despicable person in real life, so it works out. Naomi was doing great work before she left. I feel like she was still a little rough on like necessarily like getting into that rivalry aspect of things because she definitely had it built in with Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, but I think she was still trying to get there for other people, and I think she was going to get there, and I think it was going to be legendary the run that she was going to have with this title that didn't end up being the way that it was. So I'll put her up there, up and hated. I think she definitely could have got to that nuclear spot easily. Nia Jax, I think, is always going to be nuclear up there because she has like that strong like monster like abilities, but like also can win matches, and she's been a lot better. She had 2 NXT matches, not super long. If you ever want to check out those matches, she did really good in those and really did some good work. I'm gonna put Santos over there. I didn't see him earlier. Put him with Los Garza. Nikita Lyons doesn't really have much of a reaction. She's down in Evolve. It's just not working. Almost, I mean, he had a pretty good reaction when he came back for a day into the AAA event, but I don't really even view him as a heel because we haven't viewed him in general. Piper Niven, I'll put her with Alba Fire down there. I just don't really see them as heels. They're almost like a comedy act to a certain extent, so it doesn't really work that way. Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. I think you could probably put both of them together in kind of like that mixed. Like I feel like people like want to view them as heels, but with Raquel without Liv, it just hasn't worked as well. But Raquel's still putting in good work, so it's like it works up there. Rusev, I honestly just don't really care about him. I don't know. I'd put him down in the no reaction. Seth Rollins, one of the best heels right now. Gotta put him up there. Sean Spears down with the culling. The faction itself, I don't think is working that well. I think the girls pretty much just need to leave that faction, and I think they would have a better shot of it not failing. Sean Spears and Nico Vance just it just hasn't been there for me, so I'm gonna go down there. Shinsuke Nakamura when he came back and won the U.S. title and was doing his like Wayward Samurai thing, I absolutely loved. I'm gonna put it up there still in the hated. The problem is we just don't see him anymore, and it makes me sad. Tatum Paxley, I don't really view as a heel. I mean, she's just kind of just a sad person, and I'd put her into too cool thing because I really do like Tatum Paxley. The Miz, honestly, you always got to put up a nuclear. He's really great on the mic. I really liked him commentary too. I don't know if you guys on that SmackDown if you guys would agree, but I really did. Trick Williams, uh, he's doing good work with having the TNA title and stuff. I'd put him up there in that nuclear heat. I think he's really working on his main roster. Like gimmick and feel, and I think he's gonna get called up essentially at some point. Wesley, he's just his moveset doesn't he's just too cool for it. Like his moveset's just like you want to cheer for him even if he's a bad guy, and it just doesn't work. Zoe Stark just didn't work as a heel or really much of anything right now, so I guess we'll see when she comes back if it's going to be any better. But yeah, that's my list. Tell me what you guys think, and yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.